this stuff we're going to talk about. Now, a while back, I put a video up about the right whale and the rice whale. The rice whale is in the Gulf of Mexico, which covers the area from basically Mobile, Alabama to Tampa, Florida, and 20 nautical miles out. Now, on the East Coast, it covers basically from the Chesapeake Bay area south down to about Jacksonville, Florida, if I'm not mistaken. And they're proposed for the East Coast for the right whale is going to be, again, 20 nautical miles off. And it's going to run from actually November 1st all the way through the end of March, from then to the beginning of April. So what this rule proposal means is that it used to be vessels 65 feet and above. Okay, well, that could be your big charter boats, your luxury vessels. But now they're changing it to where they want to go 35 foot and above to 65 foot. So that if you own a 35 to 65 foot long vessel, during these months, say if you want to go tuna fishing or go offshore fishing in the Carolinas, you won't be able to do more than 10 knots. Now, it's a lot of people, 10 knots, 11 mile an hour don't seem like much. But if you're on the East Coast and you're making a living as fishing, then when you decide to run offshore, you have to run 70 to 80 miles offshore. That adds so much time and so much cost to the fishing. And I tell you what, you say, again, you run to the Gulf Stream and you're running, normally these guys, as soon as they get away from the dock, get out of the wake zones, they go balls to a wall just to make it out there. And, because 70 miles is a long run, or 80 miles, depending on where you're going. Now they're going to add extra time, 10 knots, 11 mile an hour for 20 miles offshore. So you can figure how much time that's going to add to you. So not only that, but for safety reasons, you look at like inlets like Bogue Inlet or Beaufort Inlet, where they're narrow, Oregon Inlet, where they're narrow, where people have to keep their speed up to keep between the swells. Then you know what? It's going to affect you. But it puts the vessels in danger. Now, on the Gulf Coast, they're going to same thing. They're proposing a 35 foot to a 65 foot speed limit on vessels. So from Mobile, Alabama to Tampa, Florida, there's going to be times of the year that you're not going to be able to do by 11 mile an hour. So if you own that Midnight Express or you own that Contender, you might as well hang it up, buddy. Because if they pass these rules and it goes into effect, you're going to have to chug a lug at 11 knot, 20 miles offshore before you can even make any distance or make any time. For a charter service or for a fisherman, that's a lot of extra hours. So make sure you contact your congressman, your senator to oppose these rules. Hey, I'm a firm believer in environmental management, but I think these rules are ridiculous. Now, I want you to think of this. If they can do it, they can impose these rules to limit the speed limits. And actually, I've never heard of a 35-foot boat ever hitting a whale. I've never heard of it, me personally. But if they can impose these limits, say, for example, if you're in Miami, you're down at south of Miami, at Black Point Marina, and where they got endangered crocodiles, they got manatees up and down the East Coast, all the way through the Keys, then what's to keep them from coming in and saying, hey, guess what? You guys can't come into these areas because of the manatee. Guys can't go to Black Point Marina and put your boats in over a certain size because of the endangered crocodiles, the North American crocodile. That's just, my thought about it. That if they allow one of these rules to go through to limit the size and speed of vessels, which put people in danger, they could put industries and businesses under, small businesses, then they can do it anywhere. Okay. Now, next is this is important to me, as a lot of people know that I'm a retired Coast Guard. So recently, and I put a video out a while back about it. There was a $100 billion request for funding for the Coast Guard and a supplemental. But because of the personnel shortage where people don't want to go into the Coast Guard, right now they're proposing to put 10 cutters and basically pre-mothballs. So, and they're going to shut down their proposed 29 stations, Coast Guard stations or small units. Now, this could affect the safety and the well-being of many people. If you're a small unit, they got, 15, 20 people stationed there. They take those people away and move them to other units. There's going to be a big impact on the safety for the population, for people going out. Now, I can tell you, I've made trips down to the Keys, and a lot of the interdiction that's done for migration is not covered. These guys right now, they're pulling people from all over the country to go down to the Keys to do interdiction of the Haitians and the Cubans and people from the Bahamas. And they're busy all the time. They got National Guard down there. So, but what gets me, 10 cutters. And they're, like I said, it's going to be like a pre-mothball. So they're going to take the personnel off these 10 cutters, personnel from 29 stations, and they're going to shut these stations down, where it's going to affect the safety of people. Not only is it going to affect the safety, but it's also going to affect the economy. If you get a small fishing village or a small town somewhere, and a lot of their income is based on what's the Coast Guard station, supplementing that Coast Guard station, it can devastate an economy in an area. That's the way it works. It's not only the safety of the person, but okay, let's say, for example, that you're in Jacksonville, Florida, and you got they decide to take and reduce the personnel down in Jacksonville, Florida. Now, that's a big Mayport. It's a big unit, so it may not affect it, but I'm just using it as an example. So if you're in Mayport, Florida, or you're down in Daytona Beach somewhere, and they got a unit and they decide to close it. Well, somebody said, well, hey, you know what? They still got sea tow. They still got towed by the U.S. They still got rapid response. But these people don't have to come out and get you. They do it for a monetary. Yeah, these people are good there to help you. But when the situation gets bad, they don't have that 55-foot motor lifeboat, or they don't have that 42-footer that can go offshore and help you. What happens a lot of time with the commercial providers is the situation is bad. Coast Guard crews go offshore. They render pumps. They render first aid or whatever, and then they start towing the vessels back in until a commercial provider meets up with them, and then they turn it over. But you know what? If you're offshore and you got some waves coming in, some rough water, these guys they don't have to come out and get you. They may, depending on the type of vessel, but a lot of the commercial providers don't have the material available to go off in 10, 15-foot seas where the Coast Guard does. But again, the other thing is, this was $100 billion they requested, but they decided to take and play politics and give the money to other countries instead of protecting Americans. So I think this is a tragedy that they should have went in and gave a supplement for the Coast Guard for these 10 cutters, for the drug interdiction, but, for the pollution, and there's many sides of the Coast Guard. And I worked on many sides of it. But, you need to contact your congressman and your senator and let them know, hey, this is bullshit. That you have people, because of politics, that there's a shortage of personnel. Now, you're willing to give money to other countries, but you're not willing to give money to the American to save American lives. Because I can guarantee you the first time that some station or some cutter can't be deployed because of a budget cut, there's going to be lawsuits pending, litigation. Or what happened? What it comes down to is they're overspending in some areas and not keeping up with the requirements. I'm not saying increase the budget, $200, $300, $400 billion, but take away from Ukraine. Take that money from Ukraine and other places, the countries, and give it to the Coast Guard to protect the American interests first, the American population first. And, not even that, on another respect, you have migrants that are coming up and unset seaworthy vessels, and it puts them in danger. I could tell you experience years ago. We were out at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. We were doing patrols, and a storm came through a storm front, and we spent 2 days delivering pumps and rafts for, you would not believe. I was a drop master at aircraft for a while. Well, actually for 17 years. But in that 17, we were down there, and we would deploy everything on a plane, and we would come back to back to Guantanamo Bay, get up more, go back out, and we delivered 5 deliveries in one day. That's how the Coast Guard protects the migrants. So again, contact your congressman, contact your senator, put the pressure on them to say, hey, don't cut the budget for the Coast Guard. They can be cut other places. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get off my high horse. I hope everybody has a great weekend, but this is bullshit. I've lived through being in the Coast Guard. We didn't have money to operate. And there's nothing worse to being somewhere for somebody and you hear that call. You know what? Mayday, mayday, mayday. Coast Guard going down, and you're not able to get there. Anyway, guys, make sure you like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next video.